I feel like every role I've done, you know, has met me in my life and my spirit at a really opportune time where I actually had something to say through it.
Timmy, I love you!
Thank you.
Tell Tim Chalamet to come get at me. Skin glowing, clear acne. Diamonds see through so holographic. Red ones look like Ada Mackett.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna snitch on you.
Well, I hope not, because I'd fucking kill your family.
What?
Sorry,
I became infatuated with the French-American actor Timothée Chalamet ever since he starred in the 2023 film Wonka.
Willy Wonka's wild and wonderful wishy-washy Wonka Walker. Please don't make me say that again.
I was taken aback by an actor that was so well known for some serious roles, just absolutely crushed it as this funny and charismatic, singy, jumpy guy. And then his very next movie, go back to the very serious roles he was playing of fighting a bald Austin Butler. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that Timothée Chalamet has been around for a lot longer than I've given him credit for. But the turning point for me was when my mom was watching the Pacers game one night and called me and said, "Oh my gosh, there's this boy that's with Kylie Jenner, and I think he's like an actor celebrity. He kinda reminds me of you, except you're more handsome, right? Comment down below if you agree with me." This guy was haunting me. Was Timothée Chalamet becoming one of the greats?
I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats.
Or is he just some cocky, oversaturated Hollywood star?
Timothy, that should have stayed in your journal. My inside thoughts.
But through my research, all I got were more questions. An Adam Sandler anti-phone comedy, white people's version of Sinners, a Spider-Verse style animated love story by Kid Cudi, a movie where Timmy has this haircut, and Kid Cudi is there again?
My little bumblebee.
As of recording this video, I have to watch 25 movies to watch Timothée Chalamet's entire filmography. And there is only one place to start, so enjoy. That's right, Timothée Chalamet's first role was from Law & Order. I know, Law & Order is a television series and not a movie, but every Law & Order episode is like over 40 minutes long, and according to Google AI, a movie only has to be 40 minutes long, so I included it.
My weekends are kind of full.
All right, what are you doing here?
It's joy to see you too. Shoes off if you go in the kitchen.
We're gonna go to my room, so could you please not tell Mom and Dad about us playing Xbox?
If he would have said PlayStation, then he would not be where he is at, like, these days.
I can't keep secrets from the boss. I fix you milk and cookies.
I got a ping pong table downstairs.
That's okay. I'm just here at school.
Let's see where Timmy's first breakout role goes. Ah, shit, he died. Oh, and that girl died too. Damn.
I fix you milk and cookies.
So we didn't get to see a lot of Timmy here, which makes sense. You know, he's a beginning actor. It takes a couple of these short roles to, you know, really build a repertoire.
What if we told everybody to take a drink if they've ever been in an episode of Law & Order?
Then this whole room would be lit.
You know, you gotta do your fair share of Xbox kids getting murdered tropes. But anyway, let's move on to the first actual movie that Timmy's been in. Many people mistake the next movie on our list, like the one after this, as Timothy's first acting role, but it's actually not. In fact, even the wiki says so. This is Timmy's first movie, and it's a Hallmark movie. Oh yeah. You thought I was gonna pass this one up? No. This story stars Jake as our main character, who's this non-practicing Jewish bachelor. Pay attention because this is important. And after Jake has a mysterious vision,
Benjamin, what are you doing here? You and I are okay. What?
He learns that his rabbi brother died.
What?
And according to the ancient Jewish laws of Yibam, Jake has to now marry his rabbi brother's widow.
The marriage takes place between the childless widow whose husband has just died and the unmarried brother of the deceased. It's his obligation to marry her.
You're kidding, right? He's kidding.
But where the hell is Timmy? Alright, there he is. See, told you he was in this.
Why do I have to go so far away, Benji?
So Timothy plays young Jake in this one and only flashback. And he even gets a couple more speaking lines while he's at it.
It's a Jewish thing?
So this flashback shows Jake and his brother, you know, like the one who died, sharing a final moment before he goes off to college. And after a minute, he's gone. And by he, I mean Timothée, because he's not in the rest of the movie. Timmy plays a lot of younger versions of the main character in his younger career as well. I noticed. Meaning I had to watch a lot of movies that he was in for like 3 minutes. So the movie ends with Jake, who again is older Timothée, marrying Leah and honoring his brother in the process, according to the ancient Jewish laws of Yibam. You know, for what it's worth, this movie was endearing, but you know what's even more endearing was the comments that I found underneath, because this movie was just posted on YouTube, by the way. When my sister and I were little girls decades ago, our loving dad used to let us stay up late to watch Hallmark TV movies. I'm 78 and still viewing them. Thanks, Dad. I miss you and Mom. Oh my God. I am 70 and have lived alone since the loss of my wife 7 years ago. I miss being loved and loving another. You know, I guess I never realized how important Hallmark movies were to people, right? It's kind of crazy to get sucked into this random ass Hallmark movies like 70-year-old fan audience. Or they're all just ChatGPT and they're bots. And I'm just, fuck, are they all fake? Are they all just like farming for likes? This movie was directed by Jason Reitman, the same person that made Juno. This is also the second movie that this director makes J.K. Simmons play a dad that daughter gets pregnant. And I'm sure you can tell by the cover alone that this movie is going to be dealing with the consumption of technology. And you would be right, because immediately in the intro of the movie, you are blasted with editing bubbles of people texting and everybody on their screen. Clearly, this director is taking the moral high ground against technology. And to help hammer in that point, he adds a clip of freshman year high school girls talking about blowjobs.
It's compelling and provocative.
Have you hooked up yet? Oh my God.
Both the parents use technology to cheat on each other, like in these parallel scenes, and it's really uncomfortable, like in a good way, like a literal parallel cheating scene. Like it's fucked up. That storyline is easily the most interesting part of the movie. And Timothée plays a football jock in this. Whoa. The funniest storyline is Tim's, whose dad is also Dean Norris from Breaking Bad. Also, like, Roy from The Office is there for some reason, but also Tim is played by Baby Driver guy. So yeah, Tim quits football, and then the football players get mad at him and like bully him and text him crazy stuff. And he quits the football team to play an MMORPG, and Dean Norris gets mad about it. Okay. Timothy, all the football players are mad, right? And remember how Timmy is a football player? Well, Timmy throws an orange at Tim's girl. And, you know, Tim being the lighthearted guy he is, you know, gets up and, oh, shit! Bro, did you see how high he lifted him? Later on in this movie, Tim watches a YouTube video about how nothing matters and then tries to overdose because the internet is evil. I don't know, I like Juno more. Worst Friends. Worst Friends, more like worst movie, because Timmy is only in it for like 8 minutes. And guess what? He yet again plays a young version of the main character. This movie is weird, man. There's like this weird, like, boys will be boys 2000s dialogue.
You got a boyfriend?
No patience either, and those two things go hand in hand.
Whoa, this kitten's got claws.
And it's like, this character's supposed to be an asshole, but it's like, he's just so unlikable. Why do any of the characters stick around him, you know? He gets hit by a truck, by the way. Basically, this movie is about the friendship between these two guys, and that's who the two kids were in the beginning with like the flashback with Timmy.
This girl made it seem like she's only interested in eating and fucking.
That's disgusting.
But again, this guy just sucks, and by the end of the movie, Sam just goes, "You're a bad friend. Bye."
Okay.
Like, I mean, a good ending, I guess. That's what we all wanted, right? Because this guy fucking sucks.
I'm an asshole.
And then Timmy shows up for like 30 more seconds at the end and like a little Halloween flashback, which kind of makes me sad, but you know, this guy grew up to be an asshole, so good for you, older Timmy, for, you know, breaking that off. Every time I tell people that Timmy is in this movie, they're like, wait, really? And I'm like, yeah. And then I have to explain to them that the only reason why I've seen Interstellar is because I'm actually watching his entire filmography. Interstellar is really good. Everybody knows that, right? The soundtrack is amazing, the effects look realistic, and Timothée plays Cooper's son. Only young Cooper, not when like he grows older and, you know, Matthew McConaughey cries and stuff. So far, this is definitely Timmy's best role. He actually gets, you know, speaking lines, and the father-son dynamic is very good. So yeah, good for him for scoring this movie like very early into his career. But yeah, now let's go to Timmy's first lead role movie. Finally, after 5 acting roles, Timmy gets to be the star lead. And allegedly, they finally let him use his teleportation powers on set because, like, he could do that completely practically. 1 and 2 feels very 2000s dystopian. There's this giant wall that surrounds the whole family's property, and the dad forbids the kids from using their powers because, like, it makes their mom sick or something. But then the mom's like, no, it's okay, do it. But like, it actually actively harms her, or she just has like an active illness that the dad just links to the powers. I don't know, but like, she's very sick, right? But the dad doesn't want them to use the powers, and when they do, he like hammers them to the fucking wall.
I'm sorry, Dad.
But then the mom ends up dying, so the dad gets really mad and sends the daughter away onto a boat. But Timmy here thinks that his dad killed his sister, so Timmy, kills his dad. And then his dad got up and then fell down and died. And then the sister comes back, and then they burn the house down, and that's the end of Timmy's first leading role movie. But remember that giant wall, right? So like, how did she get past that? Well, here's how they show that in the movie. Mind you, this wall has been here for like generations in the family, right? So she looks up into the sky, teleports into the sky above the wall, looks down into the property, teleports into the property. Did nobody else think to do that? Like in the generations that have been there? I'm so confused about like the powers. So like, did it affect the mom? Like, she was like, no, go ahead and do it. But she never said like, whatever. The acting wasn't bad in this movie, and the CGI was pretty alright. But the story and the writing was... The Adderall Diaries is an A24 film that stars James Franco, and the Truman Show guy is also in it. Amber Heard's there as well, and then you guessed it, Timothée is there as a young James Franco, baby. So basically, this guy is a writer addicted to drugs, and his dad, Truman Show guy, hasn't been in his life for years, but then shows up to one of his book readings. And then he gets really angry because his son's book is about his dad, who's dead. Which obviously he's not dead if he's right there. And then we flash back to James Franco's childhood, where then we get to see Timothée be dunked into a bath and be shaved. So the dad was crazy, but he wasn't dead, right? So this put James Franco's career on the line. And like, James Franco's character is like a crazy bottom in this movie for some reason. Like, he makes Amber Heard's character choke him till the point he passes out, and then she's like, I can't do this, and breaks up with him. This movie received bad scores, and I can see why. Because it's bad. So bad, in fact, that the author that this movie was based off of wrote a whole ass article about the movie. To list everything the movie got wrong might take many pages and require rewatching the movie, something I'm not willing to do. Most of it doesn't matter. I don't ride a motorcycle. I've never taken a boxing lesson. I didn't date a reporter at the New York Times. I also don't date women who aren't kinky and try to convince them to choke me. Hey, good for you, guy. And I think that pretty much sums up what's wrong with this movie. It takes an author's true reality of his father's memory and his own memory being skewed by their perspectives, in the sense that one remembers his head getting forcefully dunked and shaved, and the other remembers giving his strung out son a bath and a haircut, for then proceeding to completely fumble that by making James Franco's character just completely unlikable. And then he like somehow makes a perfect piece in like 2 days, which is just like fucking stupid. Guys, this movie is the best movie ever. It's got Andy from The Office in it, the new gym guy also from The Office, the guy who dissed Eminem and also plays Falcon, John Goodman who voiced Sully, and Aunt May is also there, and of course Timothée.
Do not look at her boobs.
Yeah, the editing in this one is crazy. There's like 8 stories going on here. I kid you not, there's a plot line of like this waitress and like this old guy, and they have this like weird sexual tension. Like, he gets mad that she's quitting her job and didn't tell him.
You're not a coward. You're the opposite of a coward. You're brave and you're beautiful and generous and big-hearted.
Can we have a minute's privacy here, please?
Like, bro, get the fuck out of the kitchen, dog. And then the old dude ends up in the hospital, and they end up, like, kissing. Like, what the fuck? Sully's love story was endearing, at least. Maybe because they were the same fucking age. I don't even remember what the hell Ed Helms was doing in this movie. I think he was Timothy's dad. And speaking of Timmy, his scenes were funny. His storyline was about basically trying to kiss this girl, and he does it. It's very congested, but the plot twist at the end is just kind of, it's even better. After all the shenanigans, they get to have a nice Christmas, and it gets revealed at the end of the movie that the dog narrated everything. Like, okay? Like, what? Why? Okay, why? Why does that matter? Why did you do that? How did he, like, talk about the hospital shit if he wasn't even there? So you know how Sonic the Hedgehog has like two main iconic eras, like classic Sonic and modern Sonic? Well, we've arrived at the classic Timmy era. So we don't forget, I put a picture of Timothée Chalamet on my computer screen, so we don't forget. In this era, we will finally arrive at some of the movies that really made Timothée Chalamet's career what it is today. But first, we're gonna do Call Me By Your Name, but this time it's a girl. So the plot of Miss Stevens is basically about this teacher played by Lily Rabe who chaperones a group of high school kids to a weekend state drama competition. During the trip, not only do the kids learn more about themselves, especially Timothy's character, Billy, but Miss Stevens learns about herself as well. All the kids together are honestly really funny. I feel like they seem like an actual group of high schoolers.
Sean is an asshole.
But anyway, Billy's character is madly in love with Miss Stevens. And he's also very mentally ill, but at the same time, emotionally intelligent. And that's the key here, folks. You tell a 29-year-old you like the same band as her, and it's over.
All the music is old.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll change the station.
Love this song.
How do you know this song?
My dad.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This movie could go very badly. Like Love the Coopers type of bad, right? Billy kind of forces Miss Stevens into these scenarios to get them alone, and it's really creepy, but since he's the young one in this dynamic, it continues to kind of just be written off. As in, like, Miss Stevens kind of just writes off his actions. Like, I kid you not, there's literally a point he, like, starts to, like, ding-dong ditch doors, and then she has to come out and yell at him, and then he runs into her room just to, like, be with her. At some point, you know, there's an actual genuine friendship there, like between teacher and student, but eventually the pot overboils and Billy confesses his love.
That's why you don't want to be with me, isn't it? It's because you don't realize you're messed up too, Rachel.
Hey.
I know you think because, you know, you have a job and
he also mentions in this confession that he's stopped taking his medication as well. Maybe you don't want to put those in the same sentence, you know?
So I stopped taking them and I didn't tell anyone and I was scared and I thought I was gonna go crazy or something, but I don't. I feel great, Rachel. I feel like alive, like I could just...
Do I need to call someone?
What?
And unlike any other older person in this list of movies, she actually does the opposite and notifies her boss immediately. Does not entertain that idea. And that's kind of how their relationship ends. Billy walks off and gets second place after performing in the drama competition, and they all go home, and they only exchange one more sentence with each other, you know, after this incident, really. Miss Stevens tells Billy to talk to his parents about his medication, and Billy tells her that she needs someone to take care of her as well. This movie was like a Sour Patch, you know? It was very sour, it was sweet, it was very well shot, and it really utilized the actors that it had, I feel. And at least Timmy isn't playing another goddamn young James Franco. Many label Call Me By Your Name as a love story, and it is, but not in the idealized way. It's a story of naivete, allurement, and emotional manipulation. This is the tale of a young boy falling in love with an older man that, whether he intended to or not, ends up taking advantage of him. And in doing so, he takes something from Elio. The ending shot is just so perfect in encapsulating that. My favorite scene of this movie by far is the conversation between father and son. After Elio is sitting in the quiet aftermath of Oliver's departure, his dad honors his heartbreak and shares his experience.
Does Mom know? I don't think she does.
I feel as if this movie is important because it represents something that happens in real life. And it doesn't idealize it, it shows the corruption of it. The fact that Oliver lets Elio know that he's getting married to a woman over the phone is just so frustratingly real because it's so haphazardly communicated and has such real intentions with so little words. But anyway, weed movie! Hot Summer Nights is yet another A24 film, just like the James Franco one. My synopsis of this film basically goes as, it's Breaking Bad, but with two Jessies, and one of the Jessies is fucking the other's sister. And instead of meth, it's about weed, which makes it kind of more awesome. Like, guys, we get to see Timothée take a bong rip. Are you kidding me? But guess what? Remember when I said it was two Jessies and one Jessie was, you know, sleeping with the other sister? Timmy was sleeping with the guy's sister, and he faces no consequences in the end because his partner gets shot in the face in this most dramatic way possible. So everything works out in the end. Lady Bird to me is one of the most awkward, raw cantations of adolescence that I have ever seen. Did I use that word right? Cantation? No, I didn't. Damn it. Greta Gerwig, who in case you don't know, also directed Little Women, which Timmy is also in, directed this movie, and this is probably my favorite movie of Greta Gerwig's catalog. Timothée Chalamet as Kyle works so well being a pretty boy asshole. Every time I see Kyle in this movie, I'm just like, oh my fucking god, I wanna slap this dude.
What you did was very baller. It was very anarchist.
Yeah, fuck him.
He just pisses you off a little more, just every scene.
You don't have a cell phone?
Nah.
Good girl. Government didn't have to put tracking devices on us. We bought them and put them on ourselves.
Whether it's the book he's reading or the cigarette he's smoking or the shit that he's spewing out of his mouth, you just think like, this guy, dude.
That's hella tight.
The actress for Lady Bird,
Saoirse Ronan,
is my favorite part of this movie and the relationship that her character has with her mother.
Maybe you'd learn to pull yourself up and not expect everybody to do everything.
It's easily the best part of this movie and can bring anyone to tears. But Timothée's part adds such a layer to Lady Bird's story that leaves a lasting impact on her life. But one of my most favorite scenes of this movie doesn't involve Timothée at all. It actually involves another character named Danny. That moment where they're crying just displays such a powerful sense of empathy that really touched me. But anyway, I'm sick of this pretty boy Timmy bullshit. Let's get Timothée in a cowboy costume. Hostiles is an American Western created in the wonderful year of 2017, starring Christian Bale as the lead role. That's right, a Western with Christian Bale and Timothée Chalamet. I've never heard of this. Timothée's character joins Christian Bale and Yellowhawk on their journey as a young, promising French cadet named Jord.
I'm curious why you choose me.
I didn't choose you. He did.
Let's see what this young cadet can contribute to Christian Bale's cause. The Jordan, no! Honestly, after this death, I just kept I spaced out the rest of the movie. I just kept thinking about Timothée's first ever acting role and how similar it was to this role. Maybe if he just said PlayStation instead of Xbox, he wouldn't be typecasted in these types of roles. Okay, so to be straight up, out of all the movies on this list, this one kind of scared me to watch. I knew of this movie's existence for a long time, and I planned on watching it for a while. Out of all the movies on this list, I feel this was the closest one I could relate to my life. My parents are sober now, but they struggled with addiction for a good part of their life, and that part of their life was the majority of my childhood, so it affected me and my siblings deeply. And this movie dealing with that family bond while one is addicted was kind of scary for me to relive, even though it is in, you know, kind of the opposite roles. This time the son being addicted rather than the parents. But yeah, basically this story is about the perspectives of a son and father and how the son's addiction affected them both. It was very interesting to see how the family dynamic of a son addicted to drugs and a father desperately trying to help him still had me relating to my own personal experiences in life, even though the roles were reversed. I resonate with Steve Carell's character so hard in this movie. You can feel the pure anxiety and hopelessness in his acting, and Timothée's scenes are some of the best acting we've seen so far on this list.
Are you high right now?
What the no. Fuck you.
Fuck you? Don't talk to me that way. Are you high right now?
No.
You're not using right now? Are you using?
No, Dad, I'm not fucking high right now. Okay.
The line where he's begging his dad to help him and his dad just has to cut him off ripped me apart, but it was what was necessary for Nick at that time. I love how the scene lingers just a little bit where we get to see David's breakdown as well. Seeing how these people affected by addicts almost have to put up this wall to them, to their loved ones, because they love them and want to get them help. They have to cut them off, which is just so bizarre and hard to maneuver. The movie doesn't end with Nick breaking his addiction. It ends with him crying in his father's arms at rehab. And to me, this perfectly paints the cycle of addiction, because I don't think you can properly paint addiction in the stereotypical Chekhov's mark that a story tends to go with. Addiction is a cycle. It is not a linear story with an introduction and conclusion. It's an ongoing, endless battle that leaves scars forever. I'm proud of myself for watching this movie. I think it was very important for me to watch and just, you know, see this experience be represented in film. A Rainy Day in New York is a movie directed by Woody Allen, who is the same guy that married his ex-wife's adopted daughter. So that pretty much sums up the quality of this movie. This fucker made this movie and it's so bad, dude. And I'm so upset that Timothée has to be in this. Let's just read the synopsis for this film real quick. Two sweethearts find their own meanings to life and love when chance circumstances lead them on different paths over the course of a day. This Variety article written by Jessica Kang, I feel like just takes the words right out of my mouth. Eventually, it becomes quite infuriating that Fanning, especially, can be so lovely and so game and so thoughtlessly abandoned, given no consistent notes to play, and sent down the undignified dead ends of a storyline that has no place to go and nothing to do when it gets there.
I have a boyfriend. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. Well, yes and technically no. How do you always know all that stuff?
The screenplay discards her characterization again and again, like it's a gum wrapper stuck to a shoe. Even while the camera moons over her, the gaze here, except for an ill-advised scene that contrives to have her end up in her underwear, is less pervy than strangely fawning and entirely uncomprehending. Basically what she's saying is the movie fucking sucks.
How do you always know all that stuff?
So yeah, Timmy's girl like cheats on him, and then at the end of the movie he gets with Selena Gomez's character, which in the movie is like literally a minor. So there's a lot of age shit in this era of Timmy movies, man. What was that about? But I feel like the difference is with this movie is that it's not empowering or real in the slightest, like Call Me by Your Name or Miss Stevens is. And then Woody Allen's like, yes, I want to see this smart blonde journalist get stripped down to her underwear and fucking cough when she gets horny. Yes, that's a real fucking character trait she has. And then by the end of the movie, the two break up, and then yeah, Timothée starts dating a high schooler. I'm thankful though that Elle Fanning gets another shot with these Timmy movies because she plays Timmy's love interest in the new Bob Dylan movie. So we'll get to see her in that as well. So let's stop talking about this dog shit movie so we can get closer to that one. The King is a movie made by Plan B. It's a historical drama, and Timmy plays the lead role, Henry V. We also get to witness his luscious locks get faded the fuck up in this movie, which is pretty cool. Or is that just an undercut? I guess I don't really know. The first thing I can say about this movie is that the fights are really visceral and impressive. It had me looking up if, you know, knights actually choked each other out and shit. Which apparently grappling is integral to armored knight combat, so you learn something new every day. Robert Pattinson is also in this movie, and Timothée gets to kill him, so that's a cool thing. Fun fact, I think they were, you know, neck and neck for Paul Atreides, actually.
Giant balls with a tiny cock.
So this movie is like a Netflix original, right? Which means it's got that Netflix digital camera look that I feel as if a lot of Netflix originals have. Like the camera almost looks too damn expensive, man, and you want it to be a bit more dirtier, if that makes sense. Especially a piece about knights, you know? And my second gripe is, why is everyone so fucking sleepy in this movie? In the first 28 minutes of this movie, I saw Timothée get woken up like 4 times. There are so many like character gets waken up out of bed moments, like even when there doesn't have to be. There's these moments where like the guards pick up one of the side characters and like even he wakes up in Timothée's bed. Like he's like house sitting for him or something, I guess. Like, just waking up in his bed. Like, is there a curse on the bed or something? Is everybody supposed to start the scene like this if the bed is there?
What's this?
They couldn't have had him just like sitting somewhere or like reading a book. Like they had to make him wake up. Why is everybody so sleepy? Little Women is, like I said earlier, yet another Greta Gerwig movie.
You read your reviews?
I read them long after, because I like smart
reviews and I like film criticism, but it's too painful to read them when it first comes out.
Yeah, it has to be tough.
Yes.
I love that we get to see the main character's book, Little Women, written by Joe, who is played by
Saoirse Ronan.
Simply develops out to be a story of her growing up with her sisters. To have that story be shared and represented for so many women. The chemistry between the March sisters were all heartwarming. Florence Pugh plays Amy.
Saoirse Ronan
plays Joe. Eliza Scanlon plays Beth. And Meg March is played by Emma Watson. And of course, our boy Timothée plays Laurie. Or Yanny! Too, remember that meme? But this movie isn't just about Joe getting her book published. It's a candid look into her life, about her sisters' lives. Timmy's character is yet another love interest for Joe. And that scene where Laurie proposes to Joe is just one of my most favorite scenes I got to experience watching this movie. That moment where Joe just looks back jokingly and Laurie just looks at her with these eyes and she just knows. And she knows that she can't. It's just so heartbreaking. Although this movie takes place in the wake of the Civil War, it very much is still prevalent today. Because these boy best friends still be saying shit like this all the time.
And you'll see that I'm right eventually, and you'll thank me for it.
I would rather hang myself than realize this, Joe.
On a serious note, these pair of actors just displayed a completely different relationship on screen compared to their last movie, and I think that's pretty impressive. It looks like they're arguing, yet no ill word is exchanged between each other. They feel such a high regard for each other, Joe just cannot feel that she can say yes, and that's so heartbreaking for both of them. I really like this aspect of Joe's character because honestly, if she were to say yes and she didn't know in her heart, then that would be fucked up. You know, she did the right thing. Like, girl boss, man, go get your fucking book published and then get the man, you know, or woman.
Or woman.
We don't know. We don't know. So fucking stupid. Or woman. We don't know. We don't know.
For sure.
Yo, what the hell? Timmy's evolving. He's evolving to mom.
Now I'll show you!
Alright, we have now arrived to modern Timmy. I believe Wes Anderson's film is a perfect place to start Timothy's modern era. Because when I heard he was in a Wes Anderson movie, I was like, oh shit. Usually Wes Anderson has a pretty tight ensemble cast, so to get to see Timothée star in 1/3 of a Wes Anderson movie was really cool. And what do I mean by 1/3? Well, basically this movie is 3 stories compiled into one movie. All of these stories revolving around journalism at the French Dispatch. Now the story we'll be looking at today is called Revisions to a Manifesto, centered around the 1968 student Parisian uprising. And this is where we meet Timothée Chalamet's character, Zeffirelli.
I'm naked, Mrs. Kremen.
So Zeffirelli is basically a leader of a bunch of student protesters and ends up falling in love with another journalist, Kremens, who ends up editing most of Zeffirelli's manifesto. Ultimately, Zeffirelli dies after falling off of a radio tower. Rest in peace, King. This movie is about essentially the position that journalists are in with ethical decisions and relationships, and how these personal relationships can sway motives and ideals. I thought this movie was good. A lot of Wes Anderson films, I tend to really love how they're shot, and then the dialogue is a bit too smart for me, and I'll just be like, wow, he's so talented, man. So since they're the same franchise, I'm just gonna squish Dune 1 and 2 together. But I mean, what else is there to say that hasn't already been said about Dune? So basically, when Dune 2 came out, I watched Dune 1 back to back with Dune 2. So I watched Dune 1 on streaming and then went and saw Dune 2 in theaters. But watching them back to back is probably the best way to watch them. Not Dune 1 and 2 and Wonka, just Dune 1 and 2. You don't have to watch Wonka. It's not a part of the series. The second movie picks up practically right after the first film, and it's incredible to watch Paul's growth in these two movies. And I think the favorite of the two was the second one for me. I think if you know my channel, you know that I love Attack on Titan, so I love a good fallen hero trope, and that's in Dune very prominently. Mostly within the second one, and that's honestly why I prefer it more. Obviously, the first one has to take more time to establish these characters, and the second one gets to extend these already established characters, and that's probably why I like it. But I also like the second one more because Jason Momoa is not in it, and he is in the first one. and I fucking hate Jason Momoa. I don't know, just after watching Aquaman 2, I cannot see Jason Momoa as anything else.
Get away from my wife!
Also, his name is fucking Duncan Idaho in this, and I know that's in the original books or whatever, but like, what the fuck? That sounds like that would be the fucking potato's name in Amazing World of Gumball. Honestly, thank God this dude died in the first movie, and he will never come back. Right? Right? I think Dune 1 and 2 laid an integral brick for Timothée Chalamet's career, putting him on the map for the general audience in a way that wasn't a superhero movie, meaning these are carefully crafted movies with basically a superhero fan base. It's the fan base of these blockbusters, but you're not getting milked for 6 movies with like mid-ass CGI and writing. And I feel like this fallen angel archetype fits Timothée Chalamet just so well, and I think he does a great job in this role. Dune encapsulated me, and without Timothée Chalamet, I would have had no idea or no interest in the franchise.
Consider what you're about to do, Paul Atreides.
Subscribe to Jord on YouTube. Okay, I will.
Don't Look Up is a very clear allegory for climate change. And yeah, it's not subtle, but maybe that's okay, you know?
Listen to the goddamn qualified scientist.
Maybe that's not a flaw in the movie, and rather a character trait of it.
You tell your parents that President Orlean and Isherwell are sociopaths and thugs!
Like how in the plot of Don't Look Up, it's not subtle how Earth is imminently heading to destruction, but the world constantly seems to deny it or put it off. Half the movie is Gen Z Jennifer Lawrence and Leonardo DiCaprio just convincing the rest of the world that this is actually even going on. And when the government finally takes them seriously, they try to profitize the asteroid because they can mine it for money or something. Honestly, that does seem so stupid that it would be real.
I'd like to buy these sunglasses.
And an hour and a half into the movie, Timothée finally shows up as this like punk, long-haired, but also Christian badass guy.
Cool. I'm a Fire Puma 142 on Twitch. You game?
And he makes out with Jennifer Lawrence's character. And I like how insecure he is, or in love with Jennifer Lawrence's character he is, I guess.
Wanna make out?
Yeah, why not?
You don't say why not. It's like, makes me feel like you don't want it. It's shitty.
Sure, whatever.
That's better.
Timothée Chalamet's character was also at the end of the movie when everybody fucking dies. Yeah, so the comet actually just drops and kills everybody. And I think that's why this film is so on the nose and obvious, because it's like they were so obvious about it and they still fail.
Every single man, woman, and child on this planet is going to die.
I don't like him. He makes me sad.
I'm sorry about that.
The last moments, Leonardo DiCaprio hosts his family and Jennifer Lawrence and Timothée Chalamet to have one last dinner together, and then they blow up. Jonah Hill was in it too, and oh my god, if he didn't play his character, I think this movie would have been insufferably annoying.
I'm the last man on Earth. Shit's all fucked up. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Jonah Hill is a really good actor and made what he had to work with funny.
What up, world? Jason Orlean, Chief of Staff, United States.
I came into this movie knowing absolutely nothing about it. So you know when in the first scene, the main character bites off one of her friend's fingers? I was very confused. I thought this shit was like about vampires or something at first, dude. So Timothée Chalamet is a love interest in this movie for the main character, Marin. And from what I picked up, the movie is about this like race of humans that are cannibalistic that need to feed on human flesh or else they die. The visuals in this movie are insane, dude. They're incredibly good. This movie was shot on film, which is just perfect for that grunge raw aesthetic that they were going for. The visuals remind me of like early Walking Dead, like before HD, where everything was all, you know, grainy and the sharpness was all up. That shit, like, that's just perfect for these types of worlds. My favorite shots in this film are the wide shots when the characters are just covered in blood after gorging on another human. This gives off so much intensity, seeing like one of these people devour another person from across the meadow. It makes you literally feel like you're stumbling upon something that you shouldn't. This was a goddamn good movie, man. And Timmy had red hair in it, you know? We didn't see that ever before. Guys, did you know Kid Cudi made a movie? Timothée Chalamet is also in the movie, and the movie is really good. I feel like nobody is talking about this beautifully animated, like Spider-Verse style romantic comedy musical drama. Entergalactic is an adult 2022 animated film, which coincided with Kid Cudi's album release with the same name. And this movie was meant to be a sort of visual companion to that album, which I think is really cool. Jabari, voiced by Kid Cudi, is a man on the cusp of real success.
Yo, you good?
What? With Jabari's art career reflecting Kid Cudi's actual career in real life. Actually, shit, that's Kid Cudi, man. And to anyone upset that I hang records on the wall, all right, let's talk about Timmy's character, Jimmy, now.
That shit was the sexiest thing I ever heard.
Shit, drama is fucking sexy.
And guys, can I be honest with you? I watched this movie before I wanted to make this video, and I didn't even know Timothée Chalamet was in it. Like, I didn't even recognize that he was voicing Jimmy.
Hey bro, you need help with that?
Basically, Jimmy is Jabari's longtime friend and drug dealer, and he is awesome. Again, this film's animation is just gorgeous. I love how it's such a grounded story, such a dramatic style like Spider-Verse. It allows for such amazing visuals with such relatable scenarios. Also, this is Timmy's only voice acting role, which is really surprising because he was really good at it, I think.
Frogs. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm good with that. Sorry, I got a little weird there.
But I think he did a great job as Jimmy. Guys, sometimes movies can just be a joy. And be awesome. And fucking... I loved Wonka. Every time I heard that iconic scrub, I could not stop fucking laughing in that theater, dude. If you haven't seen Wonka, it's basically an origin story for Willy Wonka. We even learn how Wonka meets the Oompa Loompas in this movie, which, by the way, fuck Hugh Grant for, like, not having fun in his role as an Oompa Loompa. Like, are you serious, bro? Get over it. You're a fucking Oompa Loompa. That would be awesome. Give me that role, guys. I would have taken it. I would have had fun. I think the hardest part where I laughed at in this movie, though, was when the little girl told Wonka that she was like $30,000 in debt.
How much do you owe them?
10,000.
Count yourself lucky. I owe 30.
What? Like, bro, she's an orphan. She has college debt. Like, what happened? Wonka is an incredibly fun, catchy musical. And Timothée Chalamet sucked me into Wonka. Oh. And I think this movie also laid a truly integral brick for Timothy's career, proving he has the charisma and charm to play a lead role in a comedy film. And also sing, which will be important for our next movie, which is also our final movie. Woo! Our 25th movie. Woo! I think you can tell this video has gotten to me a little bit. One of my notes just says, Johnny Cash drunk driving scene. Johnny Cash drunk driving scene. Johnny Cash drunk driving scene. A complete unknown immediately places us into a realistic 1960s. At least to my knowledge, I wasn't fucking there. But from the sounds of the cars to the people, there's less of a glorification of the past and more like, okay, yeah, this was just as overstimulating as nowadays. Everybody just kind of had cooler haul cars, but it's loud. And the editing for this movie, I feel, is very organic. Edward Norton is here. Like I said earlier, Ellie Fanning is back. And okay, well, she gets cheated on by Bob Dylan. Okay. A lot of these Bob biopic characters just end up cheating, I feel like. But its context being tied to the electric versus acoustic debate during the folk and rock era of music adds to the interest. It's a snapshot into a part of Bob Dylan's life, as well as a part of history for the development of music. And it made me, a young person who admittedly knows, you know, not that much about Bob Dylan, learn about his time and importance in music history, because I like music. But Timothée, how he played Bob Dylan, I feel he just disappeared into that role. He deserved that Oscar, bro. His mannerisms, the way he talked, and apparently he performed the instruments and sang live on stage, which is just fucking crazy. This movie to me proved to the world that Timothée Chalamet can carry an entire movie. Where Dune is almost a franchise that, you know, any good actor could have fallen into the Paul Atreides role naturally. The biopic of Bob Dylan is admittedly a much harder role because you're reflecting a real person. If he fails this, he fails Bob Dylan. If you fail Dune, you just fail a fucking, you know, book and an old movie with people with blue eyes, that was weird. This journey of going through an actor's entire filmography was a very introspective kind of experience. Not only do you get to see the actor or actress's most praised cult classic films, but you get to watch their shit-ass movies that you've never heard of. I'm being a bit harsh, obviously, but it really helps you have a deeper appreciation for film and the grind it is for an actor. What I learned in these roles that Timothée Chalamet has done is he's ready to put the hard work in and labor to just become one of the greatest actors.
I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats.
And when your energy shows you so confidently wanting to achieve something like that, you're gonna get resistance.
I'm sorry, Timothy. You know, there's like inside thoughts and outside thoughts. And he just blurted it out. And I just thought to myself, you little brat.
Timothée Chalamet is a testament that no matter how many times you prove yourself again and again and again and again and again, your hard work will be doubted and your legacy will be questioned.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
You will teach yourself how to play instruments and sing, all under the caricature of another person, yet you lose an Oscar to a movie that used AI to improve the actor's voice.
Adrian Brody.
I believe Timothée's work is not close to being done, and I cannot wait for his legacy to become even more cemented as time progresses.
Yeah, it's impossible though.
It's a prison to think things are impossible.
I've never watched so many movies in that short of a time. So, you know, subscribe if you liked the video. I have a Patreon too if you would like to support me. I posted a little preview of this video for the members. Let me know if you like this type of video. It was like I said, it was so much fun to make, but again, a lot of work, but I would love to do another actor or actress. So let me know who you guys would like to see. Okay, that's it. Bye-bye.
Let's go. Shouts out Miss Lawton. I'm like, no means no. Let's go.